By the summer of 2023, April Holt, a 29-year-old mother of two and a positivity coach, had amassed over 200,000 followers on TikTok. Her online persona was built around her optimistic outlook and stories of overcoming adversity.
But yeah, keep growing, y'all. Keep manifesting and have a great day on purpose.
April shared her life openly, offering glimpses of her family and her personal journey. But the life she portrayed online took a dark turn in late July. On the morning of July the 28th, April began her day as she often did, with coffee and journaling, a peaceful start to what seemed like a normal day. She hugged and kissed her 7-year-old son, Denzel, and shortly after, went into the bathroom with her husband, Donovan. What started as a typical day quickly turned into a nightmare. Hours later, Denzel found himself standing outside the bathroom door, hearing his parents arguing. Unable to understand what they were saying, he peeked under the door and saw both their feet. Frightened, he ran back to his room. Not long after, Donovan entered his son's room, helped him get dressed, and gave him lunch. Then, in an unsettling twist, Donovan asked Denzel to check on his mother. Denzel made the horrifying discovery. April was lying in the bathroom, unresponsive, with a plastic bag taped over her head. Donovan called for an ambulance, but by the time April arrived at the hospital, her condition was critical. Jamie, April's mother, rushed to be by her side. At the hospital, Donovan's behavior raised Jamie's suspicions. He appeared oddly calm and detached, even allowing Jamie to make the critical decisions about April's treatment.
We were going to go see the Barbie movie. She said, Donovan has to work. I can't go to the movie, but I'll meet you at church in Blast. This is the Blast classroom tomorrow. The phone rang and it was Donovan. And he said, he was upset, kind of like in a panic upset. He's like, we found April. She wasn't breathing. And so she's in the ambulance on the way to the hospital.
After 3 agonizing days on July 31st, April was declared dead. For Jamie, the grief was compounded by confusion and doubt. Something about the circumstances of her daughter's death didn't add up. Following April's death, law enforcement categorized the case as a tragic accident or a potential act of self-harm. The official conclusion was suffocation, with no immediate signs of foul play. This ruling shocked and frustrated Jamie, who was certain that her daughter would never choose to leave her 2 children behind. April was known for her resilience and her deep love for Serenity and Denzel. Just weeks before her death, she had filed for divorce from Donovan, determined to move forward and start a new chapter in her life. Jamie believed this decision was a crucial factor in her daughter's untimely death. Yet investigators dismissed any link between the divorce filing and April's passing. The report omitted several key details. Jamie was alarmed to learn that the police hadn't adequately considered April's visible injuries. At the hospital, Jamie saw bruises on her daughter's body, marks that couldn't be explained by the official narrative. Furthermore, Jamie's insistence that Donovan's behavior was inconsistent with that of a grieving husband seemed to fall on deaf ears. Despite these red flags, authorities closed the case, labeling it a non-suspicious death. For Jamie, this marked the beginning of her relentless fight to uncover the truth. She refused to accept the official findings and vowed to bring her daughter justice, convinced that there was more to the story than law enforcement was willing to see. April and Donovan's relationship was far from perfect. Though they often portrayed a happy, united front on social media, their marriage had long been marked by struggles. The couple initially separated years earlier, citing the need for personal growth and healing. Despite this, they eventually reconciled and attempted to rebuild their life together, presenting their renewed relationship as one built on forgiveness and communication. On TikTok, April and Donovan showcased their journey as a couple overcoming challenges, often framing their story as a testament to resilience and love. However, behind the curated content, the reality was more complex. Financial hardships, bouts of depression, and unresolved tensions frequently strained their marriage. By July 2023, April had decided she couldn't continue the cycle any longer. She filed for divorce and made it clear to her mother, Jamie, that this time she was determined to leave for good. She told Jamie she was ready to move on and build a better life for herself and her children. Donovan, however, appeared to be struggling with the separation. Just weeks before April's death, Donovan pawned his wedding ring, a clear signal that the relationship had reached its breaking point.
So lately, I have been going through just a lot, and I can definitely say that I'm in like a depressed state. Like, I'm just overwhelmed, and I know that like I'm manifesting more negative experiences on myself with how I've been. So I have to get out of this funk. So I'm going to literally fake it till I make it. And I've done this before. This isn't the first time.
On the morning of July 28th, the day April was found unconscious, the couple had a heated argument. Denzel, their 7-year-old son, overheard the fight through the bathroom door but couldn't understand the words being exchanged. That argument would mark the tragic culmination of their troubled marriage. The apparent disconnect between the online portrayal of their life and the turmoil behind closed doors revealed a stark reality. Not everything was as perfect as it seemed. The initial conclusion of the investigation, that there was no foul play in April's death, began to unravel when the autopsy report was released. It revealed disturbing details that painted a much darker picture. April's body showed clear signs of trauma. She had bruises on her neck, thighs, and ankles, along with a gash on her inner thigh. These injuries were inconsistent with the initial ruling and suggested a violent struggle. The most critical discovery, however, came from the evidence found on the plastic bag taped over April's head. The bag and duct tape bore only one set of fingerprints, and they weren't April's. They belonged to her husband, Donovan. Jamie was horrified when she learned of these findings, as they contradicted the investigators' claim that there were no indications of foul play. Even more troubling, it was revealed that Jamie and her family had not been informed about the presence of the plastic bag or the tape for several hours after April was taken to the hospital. During that time, Donovan had returned to their home twice, though it was unclear why. These revelations added weight to Jamie's suspicions. Her daughter's death was no accident, nor was it a choice April made herself. Jamie believed the evidence made it undeniable. Someone had taken her daughter's life, and the investigation's initial failure to act on these details was a gross oversight. Determined to bring the truth to light, Jamie began gathering every piece of evidence she could.
So guys, I wanted to let you guys know something, which I don't understand if I'm doing something wrong or how I reach out, but there has not been one news channel in the local Nashville area that has picked up April Holt's story, my daughter. Not one, from day one, and it's been 14 months. And I've reached out to Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 5, any channel out there, including I've reached out to many of the celebrities that are out here. Not one will even respond or take anything on, including I've reached out.
Using the autopsy report as the foundation for her relentless pursuit of justice. The findings would prove to be a turning point, forcing authorities to re-examine April's case. Jamie refused to accept the initial conclusion of the investigation. She knew her daughter's death was no accident, and she was determined to uncover the truth. Fueled by grief and her unwavering love for April, Jamie began a tireless campaign to seek justice. Her first step was to demand the full case file and autopsy report. What she found confirmed her suspicions. The injuries, the fingerprints on the plastic bag, and the lack of thorough investigation all pointed to foul play. Undeterred by the authorities' reluctance to reopen the case, Jamie took matters into her own hands. She reached out to news outlets, celebrities, and anyone who might amplify April's story. Social media became her platform for advocacy, where she shared her daughter's story and highlighted the glaring inconsistencies in the case. Despite her efforts, the local media remained largely silent, making her fight an uphill battle. Jamie also filed a formal complaint with the Community Review Board in Nashville, forcing a second investigation by the Metro Nashville Police Department. Months later, a 47-page report was released, but the case remained closed and the conclusion unchanged. Yet the new investigation provided additional details that Jamie meticulously analyzed, piecing together the evidence against Donovan. In September 2024, Jamie's persistence finally paid off. Armed with the autopsy findings and her own research, she confronted Donovan directly. During their conversation, Donovan confessed to killing April. Jamie recorded his admission and immediately brought it to the authorities. This breakthrough led to Donovan's arrest in Texas and his extradition to Tennessee. Charged with reckless homicide, evidence tampering, and false reporting, Donovan finally faced consequences for his actions. However, Jamie's fight was far from over. She continued to push for the charges to be elevated to first-degree murder and for additional charges, such as child endangerment. Through it all, Jamie became an advocate for victims of domestic violence, using her platform to educate others about the warning signs and the importance of persistence in seeking justice. Her unwavering dedication ensured that April's voice was not silenced and that her story would serve as a powerful reminder of resilience and love. In September 2024, Donovan was arrested in Texas and extradited to Tennessee. He was charged with reckless homicide, tampering with evidence, and false reporting. However, Jamie continues to fight for the charges to be increased to first-degree murder, arguing that the evidence points to premeditation. She also advocates for additional charges, including child endangerment. April's children now live with Jamie, who is doing everything she can to provide them with a stable and supportive environment. She continues to raise awareness about domestic violence, sharing her story in hopes of helping others recognize the signs before it's too late.
Sometimes I sit here and I just wonder how somebody put a bag over my daughter's head and tape around her neck. And it hurts. It hurts so bad. I'm strong all the time, but I have nights like tonight that I just really, really miss her. I really miss her.
April Holt's story is a tragic reminder that appearances can be deceiving, and the digital life someone shares may not reflect the reality they live. Her mother's relentless pursuit of justice ensures that April's voice will not be silenced. Thank you for watching this video and taking the time to learn about April Holt's story.